Alright, so we are live. So let's click resume and get back into the game. Now, last time we played, we were making petroleum gas. Right, so this is what we had just done last time. So we've got plenty of crude oil, we've got plenty of water, and we are making, hopefully, a lot of petroleum gas. I don't know how much this is exactly, but hopefully it'll be enough. Also, this electrical pole is apparently just in the way of the pipe. So let's pop that back in there. Alright, so now that should be that. So we have petroleum gas. The next step is going to be plastic. So let's go up here, because this is where the next square is going to go. Now there is that biter nest over there, which is annoyingly close. So I think we're just going to get rid of that real quick. Alright, so we bring power lines over to the vicinity. Then we put a big electrical pole. Oh, that's not good. They saw us preemptively, so now we're going to have to run back. Fortunately, we have a proper defensive line here, so it's not going to be an issue. And I guess we'll just drain out some of the active biters that way. And then we pop that in. And in it goes. So now we have plenty of laser turrets right up next to the biter nest. And we can zap it down. Now, unfortunately, there is that worm, which is in the way. So now we just go in and manually finish them off. Alright. I believe that's the entire nest, and then there's just like this one biter in the forest. There we go. Alright, so now we take that all down. Don't want to waste the resources for it. Alright, problem solved. Now we should be able to build our next square without issues. So we go train square. I believe it lines up like this. And in we go. Alright. Now we just gotta get the drones to finish it off. Okay, and then apparently we need to head up here. Have our construction robots do stuff. Entities missing the materials for constructions. Alright, let's craft up more of those then. See if that helps. Alright, so none of this, they haven't quite gotten connected up yet, so let's do that. And now these are charging. And we should have plenty of power with the nuclear plant and the solar panels and everything. So that should be fine. We just have to stand close enough for one of our personal drones to go do that. And then we get all that stuff in, and we're just about done here. At least pretty much everything is queued up. So now it's just a question of having the robots do it. And it should be relatively quick. There we go. All that stuff goes in. And there's just a couple left, but should be there any second now. This drone hub is the most important thing that's missing. There we go. Alright, so we should all be clear now. Once, assuming someone is coming to get those last couple, which it looks like they are. That is another square placed. And now we need to input coal and plastic. So is this petroleum gas thing down here, have I set the label for that and everything? Yes, so that is set as petroleum output. So we should be able to just get some coal and petroleum up to this new square and make some plastic. So you are petroleum input, and then over, I don't know, let's say this one can be coal input. Alright, now we take some trees out so that we can actually build the unloading side of things. So all that goes away, and I guess we'll just copy paste that, flip it around, and there we go. And let's get in a refueler as well. It needs one of those. Boop. And now we just attach all that up to the power lines. Apparently we need to craft some more storage tanks. So let's just get a good couple of those. Always makes sense to craft in batches so that you don't have to do it every single time. You just do it every couple of times. Alright. So that is petroleum input. Now we go up here, and we're going to need to clear some space out for the coal input. Alright, so we get 4-train unloader. And gonna have to dismantle that extra tree. Put all that stuff in. And pop a refueler in just to make sure nothing weird happens. Theoretically, the supply of solid fuel is basically infinite because it's based on oil. So that shouldn't be a concern. Alright, so now we have to get a train, a couple of trains. So we need a train station, and we need 4 fluid wagons, and then we're going to need a train and some cargo wagons. And we're just going to have to set up all that crafting. It's going to take a bit. I should probably get more advanced resources pre-crafted. Like if I just had gears and green circuits and stuff, a lot of crafting would go a lot more smoothly. Yeah, let's do that real quick. So we run over here, and I believe this is the green circuit production line. So this is going to be very fast. All we have to do is passive provider chest, and an inserter, and a power line, and you can just go down to just a couple of stacks. And then add a stack. Can I just have one stack? Yeah, just one stack of green circuits onto the list of things that I always want to have on me. Although, looking at it, my inventory is not doing great. Clear out some stuff. Like, I don't need those, realistically. I don't need 6 chemical science. What else do I not need? I don't need heat pipes in my inventory. Is there anything else I can easily get rid of? Not really. Most of this stuff is very sensible to have. Alright, well that'll be a bit of a speed up at least, and then we can go down here and do the same thing with these. So, passive provider chest, and an inserter, and just keep a couple of stacks there, and then add, where are you? Iron gear wheels, 1 stack, onto the list of things that I have access to. Alright, so that should speed up crafting a lot in the future. Now back to what we were doing, which was putting the trains in. Alright, so up here, through this intersection, and we get a locomotive, and we get some fluid wagons for it. Alright, so then you get to go from petroleum output until you're full, or inactivity, to petroleum input until empty or inactivity, and automatic. Alright, so off it goes, and then we just have to set up the coal to do the same thing. So that, and then we get 1, 2, 3, 4 cargo wagons. Actually, do I have a group for this? No, I don't. That's fine. We can just set it up manually. So coal input, coal output. You go to the input until empty cargo or inactivity. You go to the output until full cargo or inactivity. And off you go. We're probably going to have to set up some sort of better system for this, because this is definitely going to cause traffic jams probably. But that's going to be something we figure out in the future probably. For now, we have coal, we have petroleum gas, so we can just make a whole line of chemical plants and then make plastic. Alright. Chemical plants are being crafted. Apparently they take a while to craft. Let's get a couple more crafting. So that is just crafting along. And we just need, I mean, this is going to be very simple, right? So we just have a couple of them side by side, and then let's get those trees out of the way so that I can see what I'm doing. So we need a solid input and a fluid input. So the solid input is gonna go along like that. And in all of those places. Then these are going to be pasted across. And the fluid input is, hang on, it's going to go like that. Wait, not there. We don't need both going into the same one. So it goes like that. And then across there. And then we get the power lines. Alright. Now we just have to make sure that this tiles properly. So I don't have to do a little bit of extra work. So we just do like that. And then we just have to paste that along a couple of times, and we're probably not gonna need all of this, but that's fine. And then we have our output belt, which I should have set up before I did that. Not that it's a huge deal. And so now we just have to get our loaders in. So now this can fill up the belt. And apparently power across, because these power lines are just barely too short for basically everything always. Alright, so that is that. Now we go up here, call this plastic output. So, plastic output. And select. Alright. Now we have to take all these annoying trees out. Off they go. Also, I might have cut some power lines there. Yeah, whoopsie. Alright, so we just need to put one in there to fix that up. And now we get our loader. So that goes there. Puts all those in. And then we just hook it up to power. And that should be good. So we take this along. We hook it up to there. Take that one out, because that's just where the input is expected to be, but it's actually down here. And then that should all be good. So now we just have to attach it up and wait for the trains, which seem to have gotten stuck somewhere, but that's fine. Alright, so the pipe attaches in there, and we're going to need it to go underground a bit so we can walk through. Then the coal is going to come from here and down into there. Alright, so now if the trains are all working, which they probably aren't, this should be plastic production. Alright, so that is that. So, trains. Where are they and why are they not going to the destination? So, well, the petroleum train probably just is taking a long time to fill up, I would guess. Yeah, so it's just sitting here. It's just sitting here partially full, not doing much of anything. But then the coal train, I see a massive train snafu down in this part of the factory, so let's go figure out what's happening down there. Alright, what on earth is all of this? So, this train won't go forwards because this train is stopped. This train is stopped because this train is stopped. That train is stopped. Oh, so it's just a loop of sadness? Okay. So first of all, we need to do some chain signaling, I think. So we don't want anyone going into either of those because they're intersections. So yeah, that whole area is an intersection. We don't want anyone entering it unless they have plans to get out. So that will hopefully help a little bit. And we're going to want to do the same thing here. Although, wait, this whole thing is one giant intersection here. So that signal isn't working. Now this is another one that needs to be a chain signal to prevent this sort of problem. I don't think I want that signal to exist because this whole thing is one giant intersection. So having that there might cause this train to get confused if it's heading directly south. Alright, let's see here. How do I fix this? So I can just, like, put a signal there so that that isn't the same as that, so this guy can go up north. And hopefully that should cause this whole thing to unravel. Yeah, looks like it. Alright, cool. That train's one of the ones that just sits there and does nothing, right? I was panicked because there's two types of resources in it, but I think that's just normal. Also, is that not a chain signal there? So yeah, I want that to be a chain signal as well. Alright, so that is all that fixed. Probably. These two signals don't need to exist because they're trying to bisect that intersection. Alright, problem solved. Now, this still isn't getting its coal input. And there is a train heading over there to get some. And it's filling up, and looks like there is plenty of coal there. So hopefully that'll be relatively quick, and then the coal can return. Alright, we are slowly, I think, making progress on fixing this train setup. Although I don't know how the coal is going to deal with having multiple trains as potentially going to the coal source. So that it might very well be an issue, but it's another issue which we will solve when it happens. In the meantime, still not getting any petroleum over here. It's probably going to take ages, right? Like this is only up to 7k per car. We have to get up to 50k per car. That seems excessive. Let's add or 30 seconds of time passed, maybe. Maybe bump that up to like 2 minutes. So it'll at least do something every so often. And that should be fine. So this is just going to be filling up the tank while that goes. And I think we might just need more petroleum gas production. But also what we have here probably will last quite a while. Is it just me or did it? It just dumped that and left like instantly. Jeez, okay, that was fast. So now we have that. We are waiting on the coal, which seems to have gotten stuck. Alright. Back down to the south side of the factory. Actually, I have all this concrete. I may as well build a little path for me as I go. Alright, I guess then the path will go over this way. Alright, how do I get there? We're gonna have to cross there. And then keep going south. And that's all the concrete we have for now, so we're just gonna have to wait for that to get restocked. That felt very silly, but also quite effective. I mean, we were zooming when we were walking on that concrete path. Alright, trains. What is going on down here? So you are waiting there because you're trying to get to here. Okay, so that's why. Train limit of 1. Yes? Yes, so now there's one train there. So the second train isn't going to go there. Right? I think we just have to get it to recalculate. Alright. That's that. And now we head up to see it and see it start producing the plastic, hopefully. I might need to create like distribution stops or something. Yeah, I think I have an idea for how to handle this stuff potentially. I don't know. I'll have to think it through more, but basically if I have a train square which just has one stop of coal input and then 3 stops of coal outputs, then hopefully that should speed things up and prevent trains getting stuck at weird locations. Alright, so now we're getting our concrete refilled, and the coal is here. Arrived just about the same time. So now this is going to filter across and start making plastic. It's using a fair amount of coal. This is much more plastic production than I've traditionally had. But it's still not like a huge amount or anything. So actually, let's just do a quick copy paste. How about that? I think we're going to need to move it back a little so that we don't use all of it, so that it doesn't clip. Alright, that ought to be enough plastic production for the foreseeable future. And I don't know if our coal is going to be able to keep up with that. I don't know if our petroleum is going to be able to keep up with that. It actually looks like the output belt isn't keeping up with that, so that's fine. So we need, like, basically to use the full belt for this. Let's see here. How is that going to work? We need... So some of these are like working half the time, whereas like this one is also only working sometimes, but this one seems to be always working. Alright, so what if we... wait, no. Yeah, okay, so we have to take that out. And then change all of those to go that way. And then they merge up and go back. So that should be approximately good. And we now have hopefully more plastic production than we can realistically use, and then this will mostly just be idle except for when we need lots of plastic. Alright, so advanced circuit is plastic bars, copper cables, and electronic circuits. We have all of those things. So we should be able to just get that started then. And yeah, this is using a lot of coal, looks like. It's draining this fast. But that's fine. I mean, we're not actually going to be using all of this plastic, basically. So we just need this buffer to fill up. Alright, so now we can go up here and start making red circuits. And this is going to be the first, like, really useful thing that this factory is going to be able to do, is print out a lot of those. Unless it doesn't work. Alright, so this goes in like that. And we have to build this square. And that, so we're just gonna have to sit and wait for that. And run around making sure everything gets done. So obviously this top corner isn't within range of drones until the ports get built. Right, so that all goes in. And then we just get the rest of this, and just about there. Let's see, we get that. And we are very close to another biter nest, so we're gonna have to probably stop by and get that popped in. So we're gonna have to go fight some biters real quick, because they are right by the corner that we just built. So we build some power lines out, and then we go big electrical pole and turret box. Hello? Someone put the power pole in so that the lasers can fire? Good. Alright, cool. So now with that in, we should be able to... Oh, no. Alright, so the worms are basically the problem at this point, because they can shoot back because they have ridiculous range. But they also don't do all that much damage, so we should be fine to just go out like that, and then put some in manually, just nice and quick. And another nest down. So then all that can go out, and we should be clear-ish. That those are within biter range, but that area is protected. There are biters down there, and I don't think we need to worry about them. It's a good thing we have this giant lake-type ocean-y thing here. That's very convenient, protecting that entire side from all of those biters. Alright, so this should be clear for now. And also, apparently there's a train that's decided this is the quickest way to get wherever it's going. Alright, so now we set up the train stations. So this is going to be plastic input. Save that. So we need plastic, we need green circuits, and we need copper wire, I think. So this is going to be green circuit input, and then we go over here and we get, let's just confirm that I'm right, yes, copper cable input. Oh, it's copper wire is what I've called it. That's fine, so we're just going to select that. Alright. Now we just get the unloaders, which are... Oh, I have to hold shift to dismantle stuff. We get there, and we get there, and we get there. Oh, this bottom one, I need to do control shift because there's human-built stuff in the way. So let's just do that. Get rid of those walls. Alright, so that's all in. Then we go up here, and we're going to need to connect those up to power. So there we go. There's another one. And then we just have to get this connected up to power, which, there we go, a cable there can do it. Alright, so those are all in. Now we need the trains. So do I have any trains pre-crafted? No. I do have cargo wagons, though. So let's get all that stuff crafting. And put in the trains. So you get a train. And for these, and oh, this has to get a refueler. So that just goes in there. Give you some fuel to get started. And you can go to plastic. So plastic, where is, there it is. So plastic input until empty, or inactivity. Plastic output until empty, or inactivity. Oh no, this has to be full. Full cargo. And off you go. So you're going to go grab some plastic. Then we need to get copper wire. And we also need to start the crafting for the third input train here. So we get you. And you get all of those. And you get a refueler. I don't already have a group for this, do I? No. Alright, copper wire input. And copper wire output. Go to the input until you're empty. You go to the output until you're full. Then you get inactivity checks. And then you can go as soon as you get fuel, which I guess I can manually do. Oh, I'm probably going to need to set train limits on all of these. Biter Soldier, hello, thank you for the raid. We are currently just setting up red circuit production and trying to get all these trains to do what I want them to do. So this is the one that has to take in the green circuits. So we get a train, and then we get 4 of these. So you can go green circuit input, green circuit output, empty cargo, full cargo, or 5 seconds of inactivity, or 5 seconds of inactivity, automatic, and then have some fuel. And then we're just gonna pop the refueler in, and there we go. So that should theoretically be all the resources. Now, instead, we have a gargantuan traffic jam. So, what is going on here? Right, the copper wire is doing this thing again. Alright, so you need to be set to a train limit of 1. I really should get around to setting all of them to do that at some point. But let's see. So this is filling up with wire. And it's just going to be filling for a while. Probably need to get like all this production going faster to be able to keep up with how much the trains want to store. Also, I've just realized that I've placed this wrong and it's not even doing this properly. It's leaving the last wagon empty. That's fine, I guess. So how do we fix that? Is there like an interrupt? How do we make a new interrupt? I've done this at one point. No, that's not it. I just want to add a new one. Test. Conditions. Station is full. Okay, but that would have to know, like, what group it's in. Because I want it to be like, if the station you're going to is full, just go somewhere else instead. But that's obviously not going to work. Conditions. Oh, destination full or no path. Alright, and then you can just go to Hjorvir until I guess just like 30 seconds. Sure. Alright, so now we're gonna have to get all this stuff unstuck. And how do we do that? Well, eventually this train will fill up, but it's going to take absolutely ages. Alright, what if we just did that? So if we just do that, then hopefully this will fill up quickly, and then leave the station, and then the whole traffic jam should end. Alright, so it's off. Now you're in. And alright, you just pass straight through for some reason. Alright, it looks like things are working now. Although, do we set this to be train limit of 1? No, we didn't. Let's do that. And let's just try to give all of them that interrupt so this sort of thing doesn't happen. Hopefully. Yeah, I mean, the problem is that the ability to load this all up quickly is not great. I mean, it's all throttled by a single belt. Alright, so let's work on upgrading our train loaders, because I'm pretty sure this is the one we're using. Factory must grow. Yep, definitely in need of the factory growing. The problem is that it just takes a long time to load up trains. And it takes a fair amount of time to unload them as well. But that's less of an issue. So what I need to do is Alright, so first of all, this... We just have to undo that. Oh, the wires in that are going to be the problem. Hello! Yeah. We are... Alright, so all... The wires in those boxes are going to be a problem, aren't they? Well, I'm sure this will be fine. Alright, can I just set that I only want to have one stack of wire on me at a time so that these guys can send that somewhere else? And then, can I just, like, plop down a row of storage chests right here? Alright, well this is getting very silly now. So we're moving, like, thousands upon thousands of wire via drone through my personal inventory as, like, a buffer. This is not incredible planning here. What if I just undeconstruction plan them? Alright. Yeah, we were, like, nowhere close. Alright. So those boxes are just sitting there now, and we're gonna have to get rid of them. And the way we're gonna get rid of them is... I mean, my inventory is very, very crowded to do this sort of thing. So, let's first go back here, plop down a chest, and... Alright, turn off logistics for the moment. Because I need to just have inventory slots available. And then I need to use them to manually maneuver all of this copper wire over. This is much more practical than having a gazillion drones do it. How did this get the storage chest in it? Alright, so now we take all this stuff back. And turn logistics back on. Alright, now we take those out. So, what we need is... Yeah, okay, so we need... I think the way this is going to work is we're just going to have, like, a full belt of potential output for each of them. So, wait, no, I don't want them pointing that way. I want them pointing in like this. So you go like that. You go like that. So we have those. And then each of these can get, like, 3 bulk inserters. That's probably enough. I think I worked on this before, and it's, like, approximately enough to carry an entire belt off. And if it isn't, then it's close enough, probably. Alright, so now... Why can I not click this properly? So now these all have to loop back effectively so that they're all going this way. So now we have that. And we have a row of boxes for them. So each of these is going to need, like, 3 boxes worth of buffer output, probably. Or, no, it's going to need 3 inserters bulk inserters, right? So we need to get onto the belt like that, and like that. So now some of these belts need to go back a little bit more. So that means that these need to have boxes here. Now I definitely don't want all of these to have full boxes. So this can be like individual rows. And if I just do that, does that work? Yes. So those boxes can then load onto these belts. And then, now we need to fill those boxes from the output belt. And probably use all of these thousands of wire in the process as well. That would be nice. So we have those. And those are going to output onto that. And wait, how do we fill the boxes? Oh wait, I think I know. Okay, so we need more space. We need more space, so we just take all of these out, and then we go like box, gap, box, gap, box. So if we have something like this, then we have bulk inserters feeding from one box to the other. Now we can just run the main line past the boxes. Got to take out some of these extraneous bulk inserters. Run these further back. Not there. They all go like that. And then these do that. So now, the main copper line comes across here, like that, and then into all of those. And now we just need to power it up. So this, let's see, probably going to be missing some with that. Yeah, we're missing these ones up here. And then we get all of those in. And this should be a fair bit quicker at least. And then we can also just, let's see here, how do we do this? I guess we just input them like that. Because we do want to not waste all of that copper wire in those boxes. Actually, we can just... Oh. Where's it all going? Oh, it's all going into my trash slots because I have the logistics set up. Yeah, no, stop doing that. So you get some copper, and you get some... I could have sworn I turned that off. I'm pretty sure I turned my logistics off, but the drones are still coming. Alright, so that should at least get these things started. And hopefully that will use a whole lot of this stuff. Now the problem currently is that it's prioritizing the old stuff instead of the new. So let's actually do this a more sensible way. So this has to come back there, twist around like that, go into there, and set right priority. So now it's using as much of this belt as possible and not using as much of the other belt. So there we go. Now we are filling up train cars with copper wire. And now this is just going to sit here until it's full, probably. Right? Yep. So it's just going to sit there until it's full, and hopefully that'll be that. Alright, so we did get copper wire delivered here at some point. Not entirely sure how, but it happened. Also, I just realized last time we set this up, we didn't use all 4. This time we do use all 4. Okay, and then what I wanted to do is blueprint this. So this is 4 train speed loader, I guess. So that's blueprinted now, and could probably make it more compact, but I don't know. It's not worth thinking about. We have plenty of space at the moment. Alright, so now we go up here, and we do still have something missing. What is this? Why is it missing? Green circuits. Why are we not getting any green circuits? Did I not put a train in? I did, and it is waiting at green circuit output. It's had like a billion years. You would think that in all that time it would have filled up a train. Alright, so we go over here. Nope, it is simply filling up a train. And, I mean, yeah, so this is another similar situation where we have, theoretically, thousands, but they aren't getting output fast enough. They are getting output faster than they're getting input, so it's probably not a huge issue here. Green circuits are relatively lower capacity than copper wire is, I would guess. Speaking of which, this still has copper wire as well, so that's all looking good. Yeah, I guess we just have to wait. This will fill up eventually. It is probably pretty close. Yeah, 6K is most of the way full. Alright, there we go. Yeah, so I guess we're just going to have to wait for that. Meanwhile, the production is being limited here by the fact that we only have one input belt. So this uses a lot of wire, and we're only using one side of the input belt. So let's try and speed that up. And the easiest way to do that is to just swap it so that we have 2 input belts. So this just goes here, and this might make it a little bit more... It's going to be a little bit less scalable this way, but that's ultimately not a huge issue. Alright, so now these all get this stuff. And we need power poles because the power poles are hilariously short-ranged for some reason. And there we go. So now we have a full belt of wire that can theoretically be used, as well as our full belt of iron plates. That should speed up the green circuit production. And I do think we should just set up the faster system here, and probably just everywhere, so that it can load quicker. Alright, so this is 4-train speed loader, not to be confused with 4-train loader fast, which is much slower than it. Alright, the boxes aren't gonna overlap probably, so we're gonna have to move them again. So, oh, I've had logistics off this whole time. That's unfortunate. So let's get a couple boxes down. One of them can store all of my junk. And then we... Alright, so we need to stop inputting to these, because we're trying to empty them out real quick. Now all of that can go into that box. Alright, now I can take all this stuff back. And that also triggered the 5-second inactivity cooldown, which is actually helpful. It's going to send that train off early. Alright, now we dismantle that. And then we're going to build in the speed loader in its place. So that goes in. And this belt is gonna just need to go up there and around like that. Alright, apparently one of these didn't get powered correctly. Alright, so now we just shift some of this stuff in so that it's not wasted. There you go. And I thought I had set that on the blueprint, but I might not have. We don't want, since there are so many boxes here, we don't want to max fill all of them. We just want preferably enough to fill a train, which I don't actually know how much it is. This reduced number might not be enough, but we'll find out. And I'm sure it'll be fine. Alright, so while that is producing along... Oh dear, oh dear. What are you doing? Why do you have green circuits? Why do you have green circuits in your train? What are you meant to be? You're meant to be copper wire. Alright, something very bad might have happened. I don't know how that has occurred. I don't know how that has occurred. This is green circuit output. Did belt... don't get hit by a train. Alright, we dodge those. Now, how did you get green circuits into your wagon? Yeah, that was a close call. That was just pure reaction time there. Alright, let's set personal logistics back on. Just realized I've had that off for a while. So we're going to have all sorts of drones going there. And yeah, so you got green circuits in your inventory somehow, and I need to figure out how. So this is where the green circuits come from. They go onto trains here. Did that train stop here incorrectly somehow? I don't see how. I mean, this is clearly green circuit output. Alright, there goes the train. It's getting filled up. Actually, how much space does this have? This has 4 rows. And these are 1 row each. So our max storage here isn't a full train, but that's fine because we're not outputting that fast anyways, and it's close enough that it should be not an issue. Alright. Now you have a chest. Oh, God, those are storage chests. That's how it happened. Jeez, that's horrifying. So yeah, these boxes are just taking whatever they feel like, not just wires. Alright, so we can fix that by setting logistics filters on them. And then those ones are doing other storage related things. So we pick up that box. Does anyone see any other non-wire objects on these belts? I don't. Because we still do want to drain these, obviously. So that, and then those can go back to doing what they're doing. And they've been set to only take copper cables, so this should be safe now. Alright, so the train is filling up. We don't have a refueler here. Let's just pop one in, just to be sure. Alright, so that is that crisis averted. There's another train there. This is filling up with green circuits again. Alright, now let's just head up and see. We have all the things. We've got copper wire, we've got plastic, we've got green circuits. So we should be all good to go to make our red circuit production here. With plastic has returned output just like a couple things and then left. Which is a little weird. I wouldn't expect it to work that way. Alright, so we need a row of assemblers. Like that. And we need them to make advanced circuits. Now this doesn't use a huge amount of any particular thing, but does use more wire than the other two. So I think we're going to do one belt of plastic. Well, we're going to use half a belt of plastic and green circuits, and then a full belt of wire. So these two first, all that merging happens. Then this comes down here and over here and down here and then over here. Alright, so we have green circuits and plastic next to each other. So what we need is We need this. The green circuits go in on that side. The plastic goes in on that side. And now we have this belt, which we can run up there. And then we take the wire, and the wire will also come down this way, and I guess it can underground belt under the drone port, and then go up. So we have that. And then we have our output belt, which is just here. Oops, something got destroyed. A gun turret. More gun turrets are being damaged. Is that an issue? Where is it? It's in a weird little corner. That's probably not being properly defended. I better pop down and fill in some laser turrets to that corner. Also, a train has run out of fuel. So that's gonna be something that I need to address at some point. Alright, let's make a little path through that. And let's see, what corner was it? It was like this one just directly south of me here. Alright. Yeah, it looks like this corner. Alright, so you get just a couple of random laser turrets, and we'll stretch those defenses out a bit around the sides of the corner, so that should be secure now. Now back up to figure out what train didn't get a refueling station. You can use this convenient concrete path to go fast. Up we go. Don't get hit by a train. That concrete path reminds me that I need to be placing more of those. Like, basically just whenever I run, I should be placing a path around next to me. How do you not have fuel? There's literally... Is this... Oh, this is placed too far back. That's why. Okay, sure. So that goes out. Refueler goes there. And then you get a stack of fuel. Now the refueler is aligned properly. And there we go. So now everything's running around as usual. And we are right back where we needed to be for this. So we need inserters. So all these get inserters. And they get some over here as well. And now we just have to fill the power lines in. Okay, and we also need to get the output belts here. So that does that, and then it's going to go up to the north, and we get long-handled inserters to fill that up. And then power lines. There we go. So that should all be functional. There we go. We do have red circuits starting to output. Speaking of things that I need red circuits for, let's productivity module these. And did I productivity module other stuff recently? I don't think I have. So I got the wires. I'm pretty sure I didn't do the plastic, so let's go over and get that. Huh? Why is this? Okay. These apparently can hold 3 productivity modules, which is a lot. And also, they apparently are not getting any petroleum gas. So why is that? Head down here. We have crude oil. It's right there. We have petroleum gas production. It's just apparently very slow. And some of these are output full. So what is this? This has... Oh, am I... Oh, yes. So the problem is that I am very dumb and I didn't connect these across. So those need to be connected across in order for all but the bottom row to work at all. So that should make this like literally 4 times as fast. And this train is set to go just every 2 minutes, whether it wants to or not. While I'm in this, may as well give it that interrupt, just because it's a useful thing to have. So now this is producing, and obviously these machines aren't going to produce at maximum capacity because they're just set up to run as long as these ones are running at full speeds. These are just processing like the spares. And there's probably some way to do it where you get like the perfect ratios and everything, so you don't need one of these, so you don't need these 3 rows, and you could just do like, I don't know, less of these and these, but it seems like a lot of work. Alright, so that is filling up with petroleum. Hopefully it will produce enough plastic. Alright, that is going. The coal supply is obviously perfectly fine. It's the petroleum supply which is not. Now if we head over here, these are going along. Everything looks like it's going nicely. Everything looks like it's going along. The red circuits have just filled up this tiny belt that I'd made. So we need to put this one in. Alright, so that goes there. And it will all just fill up. And then get the rest of those in. And connect that across. And yeah, so I need to set these to be 1 row, which is shift right click, then shift left click on all of them. There we go. And then we just blueprint this again. As what's that blueprint called? For train speed loader. Alright, so now we have that. Pull this up. And we take this old one. And we delete it. And we take this new one. And while we're deleting old blueprints, we can get rid of that one as well. Oh, there was that one problem that I didn't fix there. That's fine. Alright, so this belt then comes along there into that. And we power on the last row. And so now we're going to be producing red circuits. And filling up a good solid amount of them. So that's that. These are all going. And we probably need more of these. Because this is obviously... like, this is all running at full capacity and it's not very good. So let's make it quicker. How many more can we go in here? Like that? That fits. Alright. Then we can just click that in. And place them all. And boom. Even more red circuit production. And then if we want more after this, we're going to have to add more rows, which hopefully won't be too difficult. But hopefully that'll just be enough red circuit production that we don't have to worry about it. And yeah, the inserters are spending most of their time sitting around doing nothing because there's nothing that needs to be done. Now we have our red circuit production going along as expected. Now this isn't a balanced system, so it's going to fill these two before those two, which is probably not ideal. Yeah, that's not... We want this to be balanced, I think. So we just take that row of belts out. And actually, those ones could have stayed. We didn't need to remove them. And those go in that way. And now we just split there. And still not going to be perfectly balanced, but it'll be better. No, we should do this fully balanced and then save the blueprint. So instead of going past them, it goes into them like that. And then we have the balancers, which just go like that. This one needs to be placed differently. And then we have a balancer which goes like that. And we need that space so that this can do that. And then we take all that out, pop it in there, and there you have it. A perfectly balanced system. What if there's a more compact... There's definitely a more compact way of doing this. But again, space really isn't the issue here, so we're just gonna be fine with this. And we have red circuit production. Okay, so one thing that I do want is, I want at least one of these, say, I don't know, this one, to be a passive provider chest, so that we can have access to this red circuit production just whenever we need it. We do have advanced circuits in our logistics requests. So now this is going to restock all of these boxes. Oh, and then this needs to be changed slightly so that we use both halves. So that just goes like that. And I believe we did account for using both halves for the other things, so that's fine. Alright, so now we just need to take this and call it red circuit output and hit confirm, and we're all good. So now we have plenty of that. And I actually just want to make this even faster, I think. Actually, how is the green circuits working? So this is 0.22 green circuits a second, and we have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 of them. Whereas if we go over here, so it's 0.22 times 16, which is going to be like, what? It's going to be like it's going to be like 3.2 total green circuits required, and this. Okay, so this theoretically could be plenty. Although actually, we're getting item ingredient shortages. These machines are apparently fast enough that they need fast inserters for the copper wire. That's funny. So let's get all of those cooking. And now this should be able to produce even faster. And yeah, we're using a full belt of copper wire very easily at this point. And that is a lot of copper wire usage. But this is also going to be more than enough green circuit production, so we shouldn't have to worry about expanding this for quite a while. And then this is just filling up, and it's doing the unbalanced thing. And actually, I think I want to add as like a standardized thing now that you shouldn't be waiting at a station for 2 minutes. So I'm just gonna try to remember to do that for all of my trains from now on. That if they're loading for 2 full minutes, then that's probably excessive. Alright. Now you are unloading and draining all the copper wire. How much copper wire is this? Because this is going to be an insane amount of copper wire that we're using here. It is a full belt currently, and you could easily upgrade that. So 30 items a second. Is this a full belt of copper wire? Looks like it is. Looks like this is a full belt of copper wire, which means it is going to be just barely keeping up with that alone. Not to mention the other things we might want to use copper wire for. Now I assume, yeah, these top ones up here are output full. So, what I want to do is have these have their own outputs. So this is almost 3 a second. The belt can handle 30, so 10 of these 11-ish make a belt. 6, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Alright, so a random corner is being attacked again. But I think what we need to do is just give this second row its own belt. And that's probably fine. We're gonna have to go investigate it. Let's see, where is it? It is that corner again, which... Oh, I defended the wrong corner. Okay, yeah, so that's what happened, is there were like two weird corner situations right next to each other, and I added extra fortifications on one, but the one that was being attacked was apparently the other one. So let's just ignore that. It was fine last time, it should be fine this time. So you get that. And I want you guys to stop outputting onto this line and just leave it to the other half. So all of that goes out. And then this can come over here. And does that get under successfully? It does. Oh, but now this isn't even going to be a full belt. Now this is just going to be 2 half belts. Okay, it's actually very annoying. Belts working the way they do is sort of a massive nuisance for me. Why can't I just have loaders that output onto either side of the belt? It would be so much more convenient. Because this, yeah, so the top ones are the ones that are still going to be output full anyways. And now I've just done something silly for no reason. So we can connect them back in like that, but then they're all going to be going on the same side of the belt. Alright. I've sort of made a mess of this whole situation just to get it back to where it was. So we need to figure out how to get this better. Okay, I have an idea. So we're going to go back to doing it this way, with all of them inputting onto this central belt. But then, because then that'll use that central belt fully, and that's fine. And it can just go through like that, and that's okay. Now this outside belt, then, we need to set up so that the other one gets this as well, and we only need to worry about like the last couple for this. So that goes up, and all of these come out. Like so. Alright, now that goes, and we need to take that down one so that we don't get weird clipping like that. So now we have this. So we have a second belt. And the second belt isn't going to be as full as the first one, of course. But it will still help. So this second belt, instead of merging in up there, I'm going to take this back and merge in there. Like after the first 2 rows of loaders. Just to make sure that all of this stuff is getting full as much as possible. And then we're going to prioritize that input, because these 2 can go into those. These can only go into there. And We might actually need to speed up this system even more, because I don't think these bulk inserters aren't doing anywhere near a full belt individually, or even like half of one side of a belt. So, how do we speed up the speed loader? And also, how do we get this iron plate out of there? Thank you. Yeah, so that was just a relic of when I accidentally connected those in together. I must have missed one. Alright, so we need to fill in... Okay, I have an idea. Let's see here. So this isn't quite enough space for what I want to do. That's annoying. Yeah, so this... I think we're going to have to redesign our train loading system again. What a nuisance. Alright, let's go up here and do it, just for some nice, clean, unmessed with space. So we have our rows of inserters, obviously. And then each of these get fed from a belt. And then that belt comes up here. Actually, we can save a little bit of space by just doing that. And I don't know, maybe that will matter somehow. Also, these aren't symmetrical where I've been placing them. Like, these are closer to that side and these are closer to this side. Alright, so I think we just take these out and make sure that they are symmetrical first. So those are like that. And so we skip the very last one and we go 1, 2, 3. Skip the very last one, go 1, 2, 3. Alright, so then we get the belt going through them. And then we get the belts coming out, and the belts coming out. Alright, so now each of these needs some boxes to fill it up, which we can put in here to save space. So if we have like that, then... Oh, but we actually want to use full belts, right? For as much speed as possible. I think we might actually want to just do this. This is going to use a lot of inserters, and I don't know if it's necessary. But I want to be able to feed each of these rows with a full belt and not lose anything. So let's get to doing that. And we just have to put all these in. That needs to be rotated like that. Alright, so all of these then come out. And these two aren't rotated correctly, so let's just fix that real quick. Then for the power, we need power lines just on each of those places. And I may as well put in the refueler since I'm always going to want one. Alright, so that's in. Now, now we need to figure out how to fill all of these. And I think the way we do that is with just boxes like this. There's just barely not quite enough room to do something sensible in there. Because what I wanted to do is I want to have like a belt running down the middle. And that's not going to work. But, so we have something like this. Now we need to fill in all of these boxes. Which is going to be sort of the main issue. Now, alternatively, we could use less boxes, but just output them better. Okay, so how do we do that? Because we need like a couple boxes to output one of these. If I go over here, these three inserters are handling this. Like exactly, but how much is that? I really wish that these were nice, neat numbers of how much throughput they could do instead of whatever they are now. Alright, so we can fill one side of each of these relatively easily, and that would also remove the need for quite as many of these. But if we go down here, then like at what point, and we disconnect that, so we just have a single belt going in. By the time we get to the third of these, the near side is getting none. So I think probably just, it might be that just two can handle a full one side of a belt. I don't know, let's just go back down to 3. Just because it's going to be easier to deal with. We're going to need less bulk inserters, which are not free. So those all go out like that, and we have this now. And if we just take out all of those, then we have these go in like this. And so we load the boxes off of these and then load them off of that. And now we can either fill those 4 lanes with 4 different belts, or we can just split one into the 4 as needed. And in order to make that easier, let's bring them closer together. So if we just do that, Misty Snout, hello. We are trying to set up a quick and efficient way of loading our trains so they don't have to wait for ages. And we're just about done, I would think. So this one then comes along here, like that. How are you? I'm doing pretty good. Alright, so this is all in. Now we just have to put the inserters through, like so. And then we're going to need to connect all this stuff up to power. Although it looks like it might be within range of those ones already. Alright, yeah, so let's connect this up to power and see if everything is connected. And no, so some of these aren't. But I can actually fix that relatively conveniently. So if I take those out and I just push them up here instead, like that, then that's all powered. And then we should probably have that one in line with that as well, just for consistency's sake. Alright, now we blueprint this. And we call this 4 train speed loader. Alright, and yes, I do stream every weekday, except for when I'm sick, which happened a lot recently. Alright, so now we delete the old version, pop the new version in, and now we take all this down because we don't actually need it there, we need it in other places. Alright, so that all goes away. And gosh, those drones were on the ball that time. Alright, so now we have that. I should just reconnect that in. Actually, I don't know why I did that, since I'm moments away from dismantling this whole thing. Actually, wait. There's a lot in there, isn't there? Okay, so we're going to need a couple of boxes. Turn off personal logistics. And clear up our inventory. Then we need to disconnect all of that stuff for the time being. And start moving all of this stuff into these boxes. Okay, we're going to need more boxes than I expected. That's fine, except that I put all of them away. So let's grab those back. Put down another couple. And then we take all of those and dump them out. All of those and dump them out. Yeah, I'm trying to figure stuff out on my own. It's more fun that way. Like, obviously I could just Google how to do everything, but like, this is a game about designing a factory. If you're Googling how to do everything, like, are you even playing the game? That's sort of my opinion. Alright, so now we take all that out. And we rebuild it. Yep, alright, so then this goes in. I think this actually might be marginally smaller than the previous version, so that's nice. Alright, so that all goes in. And then we go up here, grab all our stuff back, and turn logistics back on. Alright. So we have that. Now we just need to send the stuff through. So for this one in particular, it's going to be a little bit weird. So actually what we need to do is something like that, and then This one has to go in there. And then that is basically empty anyways. We're just going to get rid of it. And now we have that. So we can put in 2 full belts and get pretty solid output into all of those. So hopefully that should load up our trains faster than we unload them. And we won't be constantly running out of wire. Alright. We have laser turrets being destroyed. Oh, it's actually on this wall right here. That is not necessarily where I expected to get attacked since I destroyed the biter nest that was right there. I guess there is another biter nest sort of in that general vicinity. And yeah, they tried to almost get right around the corner there. Alright, so we're going to expand this and then build a southern wall there, which shouldn't need to go all the way around because we do have like factory space in the vicinity. But just having it go around a little bit to avoid, you know, flanking maneuvers and stuff should be quite helpful. Alright, and then all that's powered up. And the walls are going in. And there we go. Then, let's see, where's the exact location they attacked? It was here. Alright, so then let's just pop another laser turret in there. Since, you know, if they're going to be attacking in that exact location, may as well be a bit more fortified than just, like, basic coverage. The petroleum is still obviously struggling to output. We go up to the plastic. How is the petroleum managing up here? Just about empty. Actually, we caught it just as it was running out. Now our plastic train is filling up nicely. It's going to hit the 5 second of inactivity pretty soon, I think, and then head out. So yeah, the problem we have currently is that because we're loading everything onto trains, we sort of need to build up pretty significant buffers of all of our stuff in order for them to work. So we need to produce a whole lot of things a whole lot faster. Also, I just noticed that this isn't connected through. That's annoying. Let's fix that. Alright, so the wire production is going along smoothly. Nothing to see there. And we're getting good solid output out of it as well. Alright, let's see. What do I want to upgrade? So at this point, I think I need to expand production of various things. Because right now we sort of have like test basic setups to make sure that things work. But I think we need to expand, so we need more petroleum, for example. Would be nice to have. And it's going to be a bit hard to fit. Because, yeah, our crude oil and water reserves are definitely more than okay to handle all of the petroleum that we have. And we just need to add more. Where is... I could have sworn I had a... I did have a blueprint for this. Alright. So are you going to fit in here? Or are you going to cause... You're going to cause problems with that drone port? It's annoying. I can't really shift the drone ports around. They're kind of important to be the way that they are. So in that case, what we're going to have to do is just have our second row here and You can probably build this to be more efficient by just going down here right up against the drone port. So then that goes there. And then that goes there. And yes, we can just barely fit this last one in. Although we're going to have to rebuild the drone port after it dismantles it. So that goes away, and that goes back there, I think. Alright. Then we're going to need to craft up a whole bunch of refineries and chemical plants. So let's get those crafting. And apparently we also need pipes. Alright, now we have a huge resupply wave. There we go. But still... Oh, we need stone bricks. We need stone bricks in order to craft that. We aren't inputting stone bricks at all, are we? Alright, so you... Where's the stone bricks? It should be in here. Why is raw fish a thing? I didn't know that existed. Stone bricks? Where are you? Are you back here? Yes, you are. Alright, I'm going to request 100 of those. And then we're going to need to add them to logistics storage. Alright, and let's stop and let these poor pipe deliverers catch up for a bit, and then we're going to have to wander off in search of wherever we left our stone bricks. And speaking of stone bricks, we do have this path here, which we making out of concrete that we need to expand. So let's bring the path down here through the forest. And just, I guess, this is going to be pretty much where we need to be. Now, stone bricks. Oh, good. Our entire mineral rock mining is completely finished. So, that is going to be the next thing that we have to deal with today, I guess. So, in the short term... Do I have any mining drills? I do have plenty. So in the short term, I can grab those rocks. But, I mean, that's obviously not a whole lot. It is at least technically something, and hopefully it'll keep us tided over. But we do have another stone deposit that I saw relatively close up there. And that's pretty good. There's also another much larger one down there, but there's a lot more biter fighting required to get that. So we're gonna settle for this one for the moment. And then I guess stone is gonna be the next thing that has to go. Oh, some biter destroyed a belt. That is not good. That means that they've found someplace vulnerable. Fortunately, we can take the path to go super fast. And, oh, there's a refinery in the way now. Whoops. We have to rebuild the path a little bit. And they got to an inserter as well. Yeah, here they are. Alright. So that is concerning. And they're going to come from this one up here. And I guess we could either build a wall, but this is like a tiny little encampment. Let's just... it would be reckless not to bring power with me so that I can do lasers. Alright, and then these are powered, right? Yes. Cool. Alright, we have lasers. Cool. Now let's take some of those lasers down and advance forwards. Okay, apparently the biters here are receiving support from another nearby nest. Alright, so we are through that. And then where did that random biter come from? Did it come from all the way, like, around up there? That seems incredibly improbable. But I guess it's what happened. Okay, apparently I've just told it to blow up some cliffs. That's fine. Alright, so we have this stone patch out here, which we just need to get in to the train network. So first of all, let's get our electric mining drills. And start filling all this in. And let's see, I think, oh, we missed a spot, didn't we? Yeah, so these need to be just a little bit closer together so we don't leave annoying little gaps. They have to be like that. And then like that. Alright, so let's try to get all this. And that's apparently all the mining drills I have on me at the moment. Let's craft up a couple more. And then in the meantime I can run some belts. So just go like that, and like that. And then we just fill in these last couple down here. And now we just put in our power lines, which can just go like that. Okay, so then the next thing we need to worry about is defense. Now, unfortunately, this is right up against some woods, which is going to make it a little bit annoying to defend. But we just run some walls around. And then straight through the forest. And I definitely did not get a straight line up there. Alright, let's just dismantle that whole corner. It'll get rid of the trees, and it'll get rid of some of the walls, which we'll just have to replace back in. But we're going to need to put laser turrets in there anyways. Alright, so now we have that. Now it is laser turret time. Don't need to go crazy on this, but just a good solid couple of them. This side doesn't really need them. Like, let's be honest, they're not attacking from the direction of the factory. It's basically just there in case they want to attack from another side and, like, try to go around or something. Alright, so now we just have to get power lines around. And let's see, we poke a hole in there. So now we have to bring this power line back so that the machines can start. So we go like that. And now this should be producing the stone. And we have to get it out here. And then we run a train line. That's probably too close, actually. We do need to load up the trains. And we don't need that whole system. We just need like a much more basic train loader, because this is just resource output, it's nothing fancy. So that can just go in like that. And then we wrap this down and in like there. Alright. So now we have to attach this into the train system. Now if I'm very, very lucky... Actually, I should have done this previously. Train square, how does that line up? It just goes straight through that, which means that this is basically going to be a no-go zone for the train square, at least until this is depleted, which is fine. Oh, also, this is the one where I put all these in backwards, wasn't it? So there we go. Those can loop around and fill these boxes up with stone. So, what we need is... Because I don't want to completely cut off the train square. So we're just going to have like a zone where we don't have squares because this is here. So that is going to look something like that, and we're just going to connect this into the grid. Alright, so first of all, which direction is traffic going here? So this is going in that way. Right? That's that way, yes. So if this is going in that way, then... Well, I guess it doesn't matter for now. So this has to all come out. And this is going to need to curve and go into there. So the trains will go there and then curve down this way. Like that. And how have these train stations not been put in? Like, are the drones just all asleep? Alright, so then we're going to have some signals there as well. Then, we need this to continue on down this way. And we need to put in the station itself, which can go there. And this is going to be stone output. And then we need to go down here and extend these train tracks over in the same way. So this one is going to go over this way. And it's just going to extend out, you know, basically indefinitely that way. because that's just how that track works. And then we put all the train lines in, which is not happening very quickly for some reason, but we will get there. So now, this is going to have to go down and curve into that. Just straight through the woods, I guess. Why not? And then we need to fill in these last couple of tracks, which apparently doesn't want to be done. There we go, that's in. And there's another similar spot up here that did eventually get figured out. Good. Alright, so that will deal with stone production for the future. In the short term, you can be a passive provider chest, and we're going to have to get drone ports out here, which I guess are just going to be like in the middle of that field, and then out to there, if that works. And then we're going to need to power them up, like so. And then you get power along. What are the drones doing? They are being real slow today. Like, I have personal logistics, right? It's a thing that I set up. Why is no one coming to do that? There, I'll put it in. I'll put it in manually. Alright, so now we have a passive provider chest, which can provide stone. And then I'm going to stand here within range so that all of these drones can apparently get distracted and give up. So what happened there is that they got scared that they wouldn't make it all the way to me, and they left to go to charging ports. Alright, so now we have all that stone. Now what I need to do is like drone it down to the like where I'm using it to produce train tracks and concrete and some other stuff. That's gonna be weird. That's gonna be super weird to do. But it's either that or getting it down there in some other much less convenient way. And it's very temporary because we're about to set up stone production in this new factory anyways. Alright, so resources are coming in. Unfulfilled requests are going down. I think we're probably good to go for now. We'll have to stand still and let them catch us at some point later. But for now, I'm going to run on over and set a stone requester chest down in the old factory. So down we go. And I should really be running paths as I do this, because I really need to be placing more concrete paths. But it'll be a work in progress for quite some time. But at least for now, when stone is kind of an issue, I don't feel too bad about not doing it. Also, how's power going? Looks fine. We are using some accumulator charge, which might not be ideal, but it's not a huge issue anyways. It's what they're for. Alright, so the stone is here. And it's technically outputting. So we get in a requester chest, and you are going to ask for stone. And you're going to want to have like 100 or so in. And then you're going to output to that belt, which is going to then distribute it to all the various places that we need stone. Also, apparently, we're making a lot of landfill, which is horrifically inefficient. Alright. The good news is that those passages are pretty cool. Like, they can carry a fair amount now that since I have a good amount of upgrades for it. Alright. Yeah, this landfill, I don't even intend to really use much of any landfill for quite a while. And it uses a hilariously massive amount of stone. So I think we're just gonna turn it to make as little extra as possible. Alright, we are now producing all of our stone related stuff again. And that's going to take a while to catch back up. Because we have rails to make, we have walls to make, we have stone bricks to make, and we have concrete. Actually, it looks like we filled up the concrete box. How much did I want you to fill? Just up to 4? Alright, I actually want fair bit more of that just because you use a huge amount of it placing paths. So I want you to keep producing more. And then in the meantime, let's do what we were here for, which is stone bricks. So I do have a regular old chest for that. And I'm going to make you a passive provider chest. And then they just go and do something silly. I wonder where they took all those stone bricks to. Alright, so now let's craft those up. Craft those up. And now we are going to head back north. We do have our path here. So up we go. And this should take us, like, directly to the area, and also it just crosses the train tracks at a couple times, which is exciting. Alright, so now we are here, and we just have to stand close enough for our personal drone port to register that they can go. And there we are. Alright, now we need to connect these pipes up. So these are the output pipes. They all need to be attached together. Like that. And then like that. Ah, I've just boxed myself in. Alright, so now we can get out. And then these are the input pipes, and we need to connect them up to... Crude oil is the far one, water is the close one. So I guess we can just take the pipes from here and just send them down and around. Oh, no, God. Why does it do that? Why does it just willingly let water overwrite all of your other stuff? It could just... Alright. That is a tremendous pain. Alright, hopefully the crude oil will come back and fix it. But yeah, now this whole thing thinks that it's water. Alright, we've managed to clear the water from that. But now we've just wasted, like, an enormous amount of crude oil and completely deactivated our production of the thing that we needed more production of. Alright, so then that can sneak through there. This needs to... Yeah, so this actually needs to go underground for further, I think. Like that. So then this all comes out. And this goes down like that. This has to come around like there. And then that can go around there. This can go around there. So now we have our water pipe. And we just have to connect that up. Then we have our crude oil pipe. And we just need to connect that up. And then we just need to put some underground pipes in so that we can get through. Alright. So, where is the train with the crude oil to fix this mistake that I made? Alright. So that one is heading to grab a refill, and then there's also an unrelated traffic jam, which has caught the train that should be going here. Alright, so we have to run over here and see what has caused that traffic jam. So we go up through this little forest. Alright, so first of all, this train shouldn't have been allowed to get into the intersection at all. It should have been a chain signal at some point. Alright, so let's get those in. And we should change the blueprint to have chain signals in all of these places. Alright, so that is the first little thing there. The next thing is, I mean, this all just looks like... This all looks like an extension of that same issue. So if I hop into here, and I set you to manual, and I just creep you forwards a little bit. Then that looks like that may have solved it, and we can get started. So I don't know what actually caused the issue to start, although it actually looks like it wasn't back here. It looks like the cause of the issue may have been somewhere else. So we can go back to manual mode, or automatic mode rather. Alright, let's get more chain signals in here, although it looks like they were being careful anyways. So we still have this. So you are trying to go that way. And yellow is currently occupied. Now, the annoying thing is that yellow is actually fine, because you could easily go up there. So So if we just make that a chain signal. Now, how do we solve this? So the first answer is we would need to like somehow disconnect that from that, but there isn't really a good way to do that since they're all interconnected there. I don't know how to solve this problem aside from having chain signals everywhere so that it doesn't have problems. Alright, we're just going to drive you, yeah, sure, I guess up here. And then set you going again. Did that unstick everything? It might have. Yeah, looks like it did. Alright, so I need to fix the blueprints because... So first of all, I'm going to have to go through and place like a billion chain signals everywhere, and that's going to suck. And second of all, I'm going to need to... Okay, let's take grenades off the hotbar and place them with chain signals. I've been using those a lot more. So, we need to do that. What is this tree? Can that tree get out of the way so I can see what's going on here? Alright, so that's where the signal is. So that can go in. And we're just gonna have to run along and place all of these. And hopefully that will prevent people from stopping in intersections, which should prevent the problems. However, it's going to require a lot of just running around finding all these things. And then you get to be a chain signal. And I think we need a chain signal to be in there as well. Actually, wait. No, that's fine not having one, I think, technically. Because I have that one there. It's not quite the same, but it should work. Alright, so then you need chain signals. Yeah, I think this is necessary. It also is kind of unpleasant to do. But hopefully we'll just wait for more issues like it to occur and then figure out where the chain signals weren't, like, as they become issues. Now let's go and see if our oil supply has shown back up again. We do have plastic producing. We do have a solid stockpile of petroleum gas there. That's nice. Now if we go over here, train's on the way, but it is stuck. Because of course it is stuck. Now this is stuck in the older version. Oh, don't get hit by a train there. So now we run down this way. Alright, what are you doing here? So you can't get into purple because coal is in purple. Coal is in purple because it is chain signaled. And it can get most of the way out, but not all the way out. So this gear train is stuck because it's waiting on a chain signal. Where are you going? You're going over this way. So this guy is stuck. Why are you stuck? Because you want to go there for some stupid reason. Alright, don't do that. How about you just simply do something else instead? Alright, so I'm just going to toggle you so that you recalculate, pick a different destination other than this useless one, which I should probably just remove, but I don't know, it's too much work to remove it. It should be fine anyways. Alright, so now that's all done. The oil train is now heading back up, and I should be placing paths as I go. Alright, so that can get us up to there. And then I guess we want a path to go around this way. And that is all the paths we have for the time being. But I see a huge wave on its way. Alright, oil has been produced once more. So now we have a storage tank of crude oil. And gosh, these pipes work fast, man. That is a lot of crude oil in not much time. So now this should be running for basically forever until I make another mistake. And this is pretty good as far as like fully utilizing the square goes. So I think the next time I need to upgrade petroleum gas production, which hopefully won't be for a while, instead of squeezing more in this square, I think I'll just place another square. And that should be fun. Alright, so now we are just receiving a whole bunch of concrete and train tracks. And this is producing along as usual. It's very difficult to tell how much because it's just going straight into the train. But it certainly is producing petroleum gas. So now if we run up here, this is out of petroleum for the time being, and it is no longer making plastic. How is our red circuits going? So we have plenty of copper wire producing. This is still looking quite solid. The green circuits are still going along as well. Then if we go up here, we have all of the resources, and we are producing plenty of red circuits. It's not like objectively a huge amount, because red circuits you don't make that many, but it is still pretty good. It is still pretty good. And then we're just topping off some of those. The green circuits and the plastic. Alright, we have made pretty good progress today. We've really gotten a lot done with red circuits produced in the factory. So let's see, what do we have produced in the factory as far as like intermediate products go? We still aren't producing anything useful except for power, but we have petroleum gas, we have iron plates and copper plates, we have plastic. We've got, not sulfuric acid, we've got gears, we've got cables, we've got 2 types of circuits. So yeah, we're definitely working our way through all the intermediate products. So that is pretty good. Who's got long hair and will think about it? Probably me. Who's got train jams and city blocks? Also me. Although the train jams are hopefully getting better. Alright, so yeah, we've made good progress today. I think we're going to wind up the stream. Thanks everyone for hanging out. I had a lot of fun. We made red circuits, we made plastic, we did all sorts of stuff. Oh wait. Before we wind up the stream, let's go stop this massive biter invasion. Oh gosh, they're getting into everything. They're getting into everything. Well, so much for our plastic production, guys. It's all gone. Okay. That's fixed. Alright. The absolute best time for a massive crisis to happen. Alright, where do they come from? Like, they obviously... Like, they were over there attacking this way, which is a bizarre angle to attack from. And the problem is there's a lot of options. So they could be here coming straight across. I don't know why they would skip right past the stone mines, but they could. They could be here coming down. Yeah, I mean, the thing is normally they would like attack the first thing that they see, which you would think would be this stone mine, and not here. These would, I mean, they're obviously going to have to go around like that. If they went around like that, they would definitely hit up here. I don't know. We're going to just set up defenses, assuming they came from this way, somewhere. And then also, I guess, cover this side as well. And I guess we should put in a gate. Let's craft a couple of those. What did I just try to place? Alright, so this gets a gate in there. So that should be good. Now we just have to put in the laser turrets. And again, don't know exactly where they're attacking from, so we're just going to spread out the defenses. They should at least last long enough for me to figure out that something is going on. Alright, so then we just hook that up to that, and it's all lined up. And then we are just going to throw some laser turrets along here as well. And go a little bit further. Alright, that will probably keep me safe from those attacks. Oh, who are they attacking now? Okay, this is something that is apparently not big enough to be a concern because it was dealt with instantly. Alright, crisis has been resolved. With that crisis resolved, I think we're going to wind up the stream here. So thanks everyone for hanging out. Had a lot of fun. We made a ton of progress today. We have red circuits now. We have stone production refixed. We have lots of just like little upgrades around the place. More petroleum gas, more circuits. And we've also fixed a lot of various problems. So, yeah, I had fun. And so we're going to be back streaming Satisfactory tomorrow from 2 to 5. And then, let's see, our next Factorio stream will be on Tuesday, same time as always. Yep, we're up to a good solid number of blocks. And we're just going to keep expanding. Currently we are working our way through like producing all these intermediate products. And then once we have like most of these, then we can start just cranking out producing these things. And these things, and eventually turn to science and just all that stuff and get going. So thanks everyone for hanging out. I will see you tomorrow if you're interested in Satisfactory, or Tuesday if you only care about Factorio. And make sure to follow if you haven't already so you can see when I stream next. And that's about it. I will see you guys then. Bye.